Please continue.
So this furniture has been always a kind of an ornament for the city, but of late, not of late, almost a decade back, I have seen major changes are going on in the preservation of these items. Probably the guys who are looking after these things in the government offices at the lower level, especially, are not aware about the heritage value.
Now, we have you have written extensively in PGurus about items showing up in various auction houses and being sold for princely sums, and clearly this is being smuggled out of Chandigarh. And you have written several letters to many ministers and even external affairs minister of culture, and what have you. So can you describe a little bit about all your different um, endeavors to ensure that the heritage of Chandigarh stays within Chandigarh?
You see, I was going through a small news item way back in 2005, where I came across an item being sold in London. It was a manhole of Chandigarh, which was sold for a sum of rupees, I mean, in pounds at that point of time, but I converted it, that value was 11 lakh rupees. And when I tried to find out for what price it was sold by Chandigarh administration, it was simply shocking. It says that that manhole was sold as a junk for simply peanuts for just 300 Indian INR, Indian rupees. The item which was auctioned for 300 rupees was auctioned in London for 11.20 lakhs. That was, shocking for me. And that, created a huge interest in my mind as to what is the problem that what we are selling for few hundreds is being sold for, millions in the foreign countries. So I started slowly tracking all the auctions, going to international auction houses websites, trying to find out the items made by genre and under their supervision and with the help of Corbusier. So I kept on moving from one auction house to another auction house. And finally, I reached and I decided that the countries who are mainly looking after or buying these furnitures through the auctions are United States of America and France. They were the two countries. And there were certain other countries where little lesser furniture was being purchased. They were like Germany. So Germany was not doing much, but they were still doing little. So only France and New York, France and United States of America, apart from United Kingdom. The country who started all this was United Kingdom. So three main centers in the world: United Kingdom, United States of America, and France. They are the three centers where people are, selling every day huge sum of money. Then I started working out that what are the list of those items. So I slowly created a notebook where I started noting down that with what kind of furniture is being auctioned at what price. So that also, gave me lots of confidence. And I wrote couple of letters at the local level that these things are being auctioned abroad. We are, sometimes talking about there's a financial crunch. Whereas if we, maintain our heritage or, keep it like a museum, we can earn good money. So we can, avoid the financial crunch. But nothing was done. So finally, what happened in 2011, we filed a public interest litigation in the High Court as well, and requesting them for two things. Number one, the government should be asked to expedite the process of getting World Heritage status from UNESCO, because that was also going at a very slow speed. And secondly, something must be done with regard to the everyday auctions in the foreign country of our own heritage. And I also mentioned that our Constitution of India, which is our holy book, according to that, every citizen and every state of our country is bound to ensure that if there is any leakage of, if there is any loss of our property, if there is any heritage, that must be protected. And if that is not protected, we must bring it to the knowledge of those law enforcing agencies who are supposed to protect it. So the matter went very well, and finally the matter was disposed of because the government was one of the respondents. They appeared, and the court observed that number one, they cannot ask the government to fast track the process for getting World Heritage status. They says once the government has filed an application, they are seized of the matter, and once they are seized of the matter, there's no need to ask them. There might be certain hitches which only the government knows, the court doesn't know. So you as a citizen should wait what happens. Regarding the furniture, the administration came and they gave an undertaking in the court. Okay, look, we are thankful to the person who has brought this petition, but we assure to this court that in future we are not going to auction any of the materials, and whatever is left, we are going to prepare a catalog. One of the catalog was also given to the court as a sample, to which the court felt satisfied. And they told me that you wanted two things. Both the things have been met. The second is protection and conservation of the heritage. They have also agreed to it. So I think there is no other issue left. So in 2011, that matter was disposed of with the High Court, and we also became very happy that it has everything has been sealed, and now your heritage cannot be, going out of the country. But I kept on noticing that all those auction houses were still selling a huge amount of furniture from Chandigarh, and they were giving the minutest possible details that from where this item was sourced, which place was having this item, which building this was used, whether it was university, whether it was hospital, whether it was administrative building, whether even high court building. In the high court, it is a high court desk, it is a lawyer's chair, it is a judge's chairs, it is a witness box. They all giving very minute details, what kind of wood has been used, mostly teak wood, and then what kind of polish is used, and in which year. Most of this furniture is between 50 to 56, 7. Their dates are being referred. So when I started noticing this, I again approached the Chandigarh administration that something must be done. But then they told me, okay, look, these items are being auctioned abroad. And as an administration, we have the powers which are well within the boundaries of Chandigarh. We cannot beyond that. If you want anything to be done with regard to that and you are seriously concerned, it is better that you should get in touch with the Union of India or the Government of India, who can, since this particular topic has international ramifications, so you must get in touch with those agencies. Keeping in view, I first of all went to Central Bureau of Investigation. I told that CBI, okay, look, these items are being auctioned abroad. They were bought for peanuts, and now they are being sold at very huge prices in the international market. And I think there is a heritage scam. And I also smell it like a scam, something like 2G, because 2G was also this. Whatever Government of India sold for few thousand crores, that was sold for many more times. Same principle is applicable here. The volume, the money might be little lesser here, and in 2G it was bigger, but it is something like similar to that kind of a 2G scam. But then they told me, okay, you leave the matter, we will see what can be done. When nothing was done, then again I did some research, academic research on the who is responsible for all this, and I came across that there is one Interpol cell of the CBI who takes care of the transactions happening in foreign countries and who are not legal. So I approached the Interpol, the cell of CBI, and I reported the matters for few months. But somehow they responded me back and with a letter saying that we have given an instruction to the CBI Chandigarh to look into the matter and take appropriate action. And then they also said we have also sent an instruction to the Chandigarh police to take an appropriate action in this matter. And they also told me that you are also requested to get in touch with both the agencies. And believe me, I was so thrilled to have this communication that I got this communication at 2:30 p.m. And at 3:30 p.m., I was in the police headquarters with the SSP. And when I went inside, I went with a huge kind of a smile on my face, and I mean expressing like a huge success. And I told him, okay, look, here is the communication from you, from the premier agency of our country, that's CBI, and now you have to take action. Please proceed. But again, I was pretty not satisfied with the response. I was told, okay, that's good. We are going to lodge it as a reporting, that daily diary report, and then it will take its own process. There was no enthusiasm from those police headquarter people, and it was taken, and a receipt was given to me, and a number was generated and given to me. Okay, look, it has been recorded. Nothing beyond that. But thereafter, again, I went to CBI, and they said, no, no, you have reported the matter to us also and to the police also. Now you wait for the action to be taken either by us or by the police. But you have done your job now, it's our job. So I again kept on sitting, but I again kept on watching that everyday auctions were taking place. Suddenly, I found an auction is taking place in a country called Tel Aviv. I was shocked that how come this Tel Aviv the items are being sold. I again started writing to Government of India. Okay, look, our items have now started going to countries like Tel Aviv, where also it is fetching one table of Punjab University was sold for 1.92 CR, which was sold for not more than 500 rupees. But then I went back to the CBI and told nothing is happening. But they again told me, no, no, we are taking care. Rest assured, something will come up. When I found nothing is happening, by that time, our Chandigarh administration also created a heritage protection cell to see what best can be done. I am grateful to the administration. They heard me patiently and created a cell which has so many official members from the police department, architecture department, and other areas. So when we started working in that heritage protection cell, I started telling them that these are the things which are being sold every day in the international market, and we must do something. But the most amazing thing is that everybody looked at me. They says, Mr. Jagga, we expect you to create some kind of a framework and tell us how legally it can be protected. So I knew that the items in my country are exposed, and this is one of the reasons that why these items are going, because nobody has a clue what is to be done. Then suddenly a French delegation came to Chandigarh for some official work, and when that French delegation went back, I came to know that certain people who were part of that delegation, they came back after a couple of months, and they gave a proposal to the Chandigarh administration stating, okay, look, lots of junk furniture is lying in your place, which you are selling for peanuts. If you tell us, we are going to restore it properly, and those items which will not be repaired or restored, that we will give you a hefty price. So it was a kind of a prize money for everybody. Everybody thought that this junk which is lying in a store with lot of dust and is damaging every day, we are getting good enough money. Let's sell it out. So the government said, okay, you go and see, and you quote your price, and if we feel that you give us better price than to the given by the local people, scrap dealers, we can strike a deal. So accordingly, they witnessed so many items, and finally they, took a huge chunk of items and went away Chandigarh, giving few lakh rupees. No doubt, Chandigarh people got few lakhs. Otherwise, they would have few thousand. But nobody was knowing that we are giving them not only for few lakhs, but these items are worth millions and millions of dollars in the international world market. So that huge chunk has gone there. Now that gave me a question in my mind. Everybody said, now what can be done when the furniture has gone out? I said, hold on. I said, if the foreigners have taken away these goods, we need to examine their passports. When they came down to India, whether they came here on a tourist visa or they came here on a business visa. If they were here on a tourist visa, they could have taken a chair or two items for their personal use, no bars. But if they have taken hundreds of chairs in a consignment and tables and so many other things, then that means they have taken it for the purposes of for commercial interest. And if they have taken the goods for the purposes of business, they should have come here on a business visa. And now, if they have come here and they have taken huge chunk of furniture outside India, our custom agencies, they should have seen whether these guys were having import and export code number, whether they have paid the import duties, like the duties they have to pay for taking the goods outside or not. But for this, I kept on hitting my head for a couple of years, but we could not succeed because I could not, custom people were not quite helpful in that. And the things were being turned off. Then I turned my head, and one of the meetings we found, they says, okay, Mr. Jaga, it can be protected if it is an antiquity. It's an antique item. But when I went to the law and I saw that antiques can only those items which are more than 100 years old. So everybody said, Mr. Jaga, you cannot do anything because these items are less than 100 years old. There is no protection, nothing can be done. But I was not ready to accept that in my country such a huge heritage is lying and foreigners are coming here, like in the when we were even under the British rule, they were controlling us, and now again we are independent, but all those people are coming to our country, taking furniture, making millions and billions outside. Something must be done. Then I found that there is one item called art treasure. What was that art treasure? Art treasure was anything which has been created in India, but the owner of that, owner of those items or those who created or designed, they are not alive. So in our case also, Corbusier was not alive, genre was not alive. So then I got a clue that this can be declared as art treasure. And once it is declared as an art treasure, then there is a complete art treasure law where you have to, design, mention and number and give number to each and every item, which can be then stored. And before selling, you need to have a permission from the government. Before taking it abroad, you need to have permissions, so it will be protected. So then I find out that it for that again I have to go to Archaeological Survey of India. So I went back to them. I said, "Okay, look, we can be declared art treasure. Kindly help us." So they examined the matter, but amazingly they sent me a letter which was quite shocking. They said, "Okay, we are sorry. These items are not 100 years old. Nothing can be done." But what is shocking is that nobody is telling what is to be done. I am telling them that this should be done, that should be done. But they say, sorry, nothing can be done. These are not antiques. Thank you very much. Again, I kept on watching that items were being sold and sold and sold. I then started moving to Ministry of External Affairs because I came to know that in in Paris, certain government official has approached Indian embassy officials, and they have told, okay, look, your items are being sold in Paris at a couple of auction houses for last so many years, and they were sold for millions of euros. But we feel that those are not being sold on a proper documentation. But unless there is a resistance or an objection raised by your government, we cannot do anything because those goods are sourced from your country. So you please go back and check, do you have any protection in your country about these items or not? So when I came to know about these facts, I was taken aback. Okay, look, other countries are telling you, okay, these are your items, you must take care. I was feeling so ashamed that other governments are telling our nation, do something. Now that letter also went on moving to Ministry of External Affairs, blah blah blah. But again, nothing happened. But suddenly now, one small thing has happened is that there's an agency called Director Revenue Intelligence (DRI). They catch hold of a consignment which was being taken out, and they registered an FIR in Bombay, and they caught hold of a couple of smugglers who were taking the goods out of India and then auctioning it over there, and that kind of process that has come in the last year only. We are also, I am in the process of getting the documentations, etc., etc., but still we have not reached. Now, suddenly, there was a governors' conference in Chandigarh, and I came to know that our Honorable Vice President Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji is coming to Chandigarh. And Venkaiah Naidu ji is fortunately Chancellor of Punjab University. So I wrote them a letter. I says, you are coming down to Chandigarh, and you are a chancellor of our university. Our university has furniture worth crores, but it is being sold every day at peanuts, and nothing is, protecting them or conserving them. And I myself have seen in many stores they are lying as a junk. And I have also observed that in Punjab University, students are striking for the reason that the cost of their diet has been increased by 2 rupees and the taxation has been put heavily, making every diet to cost more than 5 rupees. So students are, agitating against the hike in the prices of their food. So I told them, if you sell one table for 2 crores, you can avoid the rising of the price of the food for 2 years. So
So true.
why this so why these students are striking? And I just need 5 minutes audience from the Vice President of India to explain my case and if it can be helpful. But unfortunately, what happened? That governors' conference was cancelled in Chandigarh because there is a problem in the Chandigarh airport as it is being upgraded and being closed for a couple of days, and the dates were clashing with the dates of governor conference. So since there was no airport facility for a few days, so that was cancelled. Now suddenly, I have got a letter from the Secretariat of the Vice President, which is a copy of the letter which has been written to the Punjab University Vice Chancellor, seeking their comments on my representation, which I gave in the month of March, telling them to tell us and give us the comments what you have to say. So after a span of 7 years of my hundreds of visits to various offices, departments, etc., this is the best possible thing which I have been able to, see that in this entire struggle, this I feel that once it goes to the level of the Secretariat of the Vice President, something definitely is going to come out. Simultaneously, I have also raised the issue with another member of Parliament of our country, a very intelligent former Harvard professor and Union Law Minister, Dr. Subramaniam Swamiji. And I have conveyed him that this is the matter and requested him if the matter can be taken to the parliament as well, saying that huge amount of our heritage is being taken by the Ferengis and selling, auctioning it for huge prices. But I am extremely pained to see that no objections are being raised in the foreign countries by our embassies. Okay, look, you cannot sell it. And we have enough of laws like Prevention of Damage to Indian Property Act, Art Treasure Act, and so many other, we have the statutes which can, prevent this. Plus, one thing more I have just come to know through this case of the revenue intelligence people, that whenever an item, some people ask me, why are you bothered about these items? Anybody can make this item. So this gave me, I got a serious question in my mind as to why people are, paying so much of money. Then I came to know that there is 2 3 documents which makes the value so high. One is the bill of the government, even if it's for 100 rupees, because there it is written chair of 1955, and that has a huge international value. And second is the clearance from the custom of these items as product of 1955. Now these two items, certificates of the government, are giving huge values to this. But I have also observed that these certificates are being fake and they are being used to sell the items in abroad. So a confusion or the chaos has been created, what is true, what is not true. But the most unfortunate part is that our country has, at least from 2004 onwards, in 11 years, billions of, we could have earned billions of rupees from this furniture or tourism, but nothing has been done. I also gave a proposal to the government. Okay, look, if you do not want to retain this furniture, let us go for an international auction in a transparent manner, and then let us have the maximum foreign currency so that we can remove our financial crunch. If you can't maintain it, instead of letting it damage further, not maintaining it. But somehow this ray of hope with the Vice President Secretariat has still not fully cured the problem of retaining our heritage. What we need places like Dubai village where you can show your things. In Dubai, they have maintained it very beautifully. All those 100-year-old item, even lesser than that, and they are making millions and making so many fortunes. Man, every day hundreds of buses are going to that place, paying dirhams to those people for their entry, buying souvenirs and buying so many other stuff of there, just to see that broken chairs and broken other beds, that these were being used by the sheikhs. That's a place of interest in Dubai. Similar places need to be created in Chandigarh, like museums of genre and museums of Corbusier, where we can display all those items. We can put a price tag over there. All those foreigners who are coming here to look at our architecture can certainly go and visit these places by paying the appropriate fees. It will give us a good sense of pride and honor that our country has reached over there. But if nothing is done, the loot, despite being independent, loot will continue and nothing we will be able to do. So my request to all the people also is that be concerned about your country's heritage, because country is the first love, and the constitution has cast a duty upon the citizens and the state to take care and ensure that such things are not wasted and smuggled out of our country without any check. That's a very painful affair.
I think that's a very wonderful initiative that you have embarked on, Jaggaji. And I'm sure this takes up a fair amount of your time, but I think it will all come to fruition since the office of the vice president has now gotten involved. I think let's hope that India will get back, or at least have a mechanism whereby even if we don't want to have it, at least you can monetize it properly. So thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on this, and we'll come back and revisit this when events happen in the future. Thank you very much, Jaggaji.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar.